Hello everyone, and welcome to exclusive WCSN coverage of the FIG World Cup Gymnastics competition from Stuttgart, Germany. I'm Randy Durgis alongside Tasha Swigert. Tasha, great to be with you.
Great to be back. Randy, how are you?
I'm doing outstanding, and what an event we are going to have as you can take a look at our first event coming up, which is the women's vault. And don't forget, this is the last preliminary World Cup event of the 2005-2006 finals. The finals will be showing up on WCSN December 16th and 17th from Brazil, and again, that is exclusive to WCSN. As we take a look at our 8 qualifiers for the first event, which is the women's vault, and right now we see Marina Kostyashenko getting ready to go for the Ukraine.
The order of competition that the gymnasts are going to have today, we're going to start with the women's vault, go on to the men's floor exercise, then go to the men's pommel horse, to the men's still rings, and then the women's uneven bars.
And lots of award ceremonies we will have as well coming up throughout the entire event. A little bit different format as far as this World Cup, and we'll be talking about that in a little bit. It's not the traditional format as you were mentioning right there. Women's, then men's, 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 and women's. Normally it alternates, doesn't it?
Yes, normally like we saw at the World Championships, you start with the men's event for the finals, then go men's event, women's event, men's event, women's event, men's event. At this World Cup, we actually start with a women's event, give them a time to break, do 3 men's events, and so they just go bang, 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 and give the women time to re-warm up and finish off with a women's event. So should be a good competition.
We're waiting for the green light here for Marina Kostyashenko, and again from the Ukraine. She's 17 years of age, and she was the 8th and final qualifier with an average score of 13.750. Now I say average score, the competitors get 2 vaults, correct?
Yes, in any competition in a finals on the vaults, the gymnasts must complete 2 different vaults, and the average score between the 2 vaults is their final score. So
now, as far as the competitors, do you really try to nail the first one to kind of free up the second one, or do you just want to kind of get your feet wet and try probably a little bit more simple routine?
Well, in a vault finals is when it really comes down to the wire. A lot of gymnasts coming into the finals have 2 very high difficulty vaults ready, so it's not like they have room for error on either one of them.
And we're just about ready to go for our first competitor in the women's vault final. And once again, just a reminder, there are 8 finalists, and this was the 8th and final qualifier, again with that average score of 13.750. Now, Tasha, you were an Olympian. You were captain of the U.S. championship team. Have you ever competed in a World Cup?
Funny as it is, no. I've competed in many international competitions around the world from the time I was 13. Never made it to a World Cup. Usually I'd end the season and either there'd be a rest time or I'd have an injury, need to rest it, and World Cup events usually happen after all the big competitions, after the Worlds, after the Olympics, so never made it to a World Cup.
Okay, and here goes Marina.
For handspring front layout half. She had great amplitude and distance. You can see a little bent knees in the air. The judges are definitely going to take a deduction for that.
And we're going to take a second look right here, and full head of steam. And
see, she comes off and right there flexes the feet, bends the knees, but all in all, it was a solid vault.
And the judges will now score that first attempt, and then again we will have the average score when it's all said and done. But not too bad for Marina to get one out there already. Another fantastic look with this camera angle.
We just see the knees.
Now, how was the landing?
Her landing was decent. They have the lines there on the mats, as you see. I think the lines started early, probably 2001, 2002. They started putting lines in the mat so the judges could really tell if the gymnast went crooked to the right or the left of the mat, and so they could take deduction easier.
And here will be her second attempt for the Ukrainian. Now, how long generally does it take the judges in this competition to get a score out there? Because over the past weeks in the coverage WCSN has provided, we have seen some very lengthy delays with the judging.
Yeah, as Bart and I were saying when we were commenting on the World Championships, with the new scoring system, it's taking longer for the judges to get the scores out. We have 2 panels of judges, one just for the execution deductions and 1 for the difficulty deductions. Obviously on vault, it's a lot easier to calculate because the gymnast has to place what vault she has on the little screen in the back. All right, nice vaults. Start values on her, not very high. I think it was only out of a 4.9.
Now, do you, as a gymnast, tell the judges prior to your vault what you're going to be doing so they know what to look for?
Yes. There's actually a screen there in the back, and you have to call what vault you're going to do. If you complete a different vault, you actually get a really big deduction for that.
Really? So you can't try to fool them?
Not at all.
All right, her first score was 14.200, so we're going to take a look and see exactly what her second score is, and then again that will be averaged in our first competitor, and again this was the 8th qualifier in here, so 7 more to come as we complete our first competitor in the women's vault. And we will have continuing coverage tomorrow as well to complete this World Cup event. And then again, the finals you can see exclusively here on WCSN, and that'll be coming from Brazil, December 16th and 17th. So, the second score right there, 13.725 and 13.962, the final score.
So she actually had a higher average today. Went from a 13.75 average yesterday to a 13.962 today.
And right now we see Jana Komarskova from the Czech Republic. She's 23 years of age, hails from Zlin. And we're getting ready for her first vault as we had a little bit of a setup here, and now we're off and running again.
Yuchenko half on, front pike half off. Beautiful landing. Very nicely done. That vault is out of a start value of a 5.2.
And then obviously with the dismount and all of that, that looked pretty good. But when she's running up there, when you start to flip around before you get to the beam, that's obviously a little bit something more difficult, right?
Yes. She actually does that half twist onto the horse, a front pike with a half, beautiful landing.
How important is the landing? Because to the layman, the first time, you basically all you're doing is looking for the landing. You don't pay attention to the legs coming apart and things like that. But the judges obviously take much more into account, right?
The landing is the last thing the judges sees. So if you have a nice landing, it puts a great exclamation point on the vault.
And first attempt, 14.550. Now the new scoring system, what are we looking at as the bar for being a very good effort?
Based on World Championships, we saw a few 16.0s. Beautiful vault. Beautiful amplitude. Jana is a very tall gymnast, so anything she does it well. It's gorgeous.
And what type of body types do you see as far as the vault is concerned? Because in the men's, when you see the guys that do the rings, I mean, they are just huge, but sometimes that doesn't bode as well for floor exercise and things like this. Are the women like that at all? Different body types that would enable you to perform a little bit better?
Generally, the gymnasts are shorter. I mean, obviously, smaller body, easy to get around. But if you have a talented gymnast who's taller, who can do gymnastics, it's definitely more impressive to watch because long lines and everything seems to be a little bit higher, more dynamic. Her second vault, she actually only competed a Yuchenko full, which is a start value of a 5.0. Very simple vault. You see a lot of gymnasts not expect to come into the vault final and not actually have a backup plan, a plan for a second vault. So they have to pull something out, maybe a really simple vault that they've competed in the past that they can get away with, but not necessarily come into vault finals to win. And with your Yuchenko full, you don't really have much room to contend for a medal.
And right now we see Theresa Spohr from Germany, 16 years of age. She is the youngest competitor. Ooh, and a step there.
Yuchenko half on, tucked 1.5 off.
And she was the 6th qualifier, 14.175 average. And getting back to that 16 years of age, she is the youngest competitor in this final.
There's a replay of her vault. It's a start value of a 5.7. decent height and distance. You see there, just the landing.
So how much of a deduction for that step do you think there will be?
Well, it wasn't exactly a controlled step backwards, so the judges are going to take probably a significant amount for as a step is concerned. She actually stepped 2 and lifted her front leg, and when you lift the front leg, they can actually take it as 2 steps.
Oh.
So.
Ooh, not a bad score there, though.
14.725 for Teresa on her first attempt. Second vault out of a 5.2 start value. Yurchenko half on, layout half off.
She seems pretty happy about 2 vaults.
Second vault was great.
When you're 16 and competing in the World Cup, there's a lot to be smiling about. We'll see her combined score here coming up. And Yana Komarskova right now has the lead after just 2 competitors at 14.50. So Teresa with 14.725. Well,
excuse me, that was a Souk full.
I was about to nail you on that.
Yeah, and again, her start value on that vault's really low, and to be in medal contention on the vault final, you have to do something a little more difficult than that.
14.475. So that puts her just behind Yana, Czech Republic. Right now, Olga steps in from the Ukraine. Sharbatik. She resides in Kiev. And in 2006, she was the European Championship. She was 2nd in that. And in the World Championship, she was 6th in 2005. So quite a bit of experience in World Championships.
Remember, in these World Cup events, each ranking at a World Cup preliminary event gives the gymnast points to collect to be able to qualify into the World Cup final, which is in December, back in Stuttgart.
And we're getting ready now for our 4th qualifier, 14.275 was her average. And that tied her with Komarskova. A little bit of a delay here.
Olga finished 8th on the beam at the 2006 World Championships and also qualified into the floor final.
Which is why that format, and we'll be talking more about that, a little bit different format with the women's opening the show and then closing the show as well. So you get a little bit of a breather. That's nice. Hit the oxygen. And real quickly, as far as warming up with the apparatus, what are the warm-ups that you would go through when you're ready to go into your routine?
Beautiful vault. That's a 5.6 start value. Let's take a look at the replay here. Nice entry. Yurchenko half on, layout half off. You see there she has to pike down a little and grab her legs. The judges could take a big deduction because that vault is supposed to be entirely laid out through the end. So we'll see what happens on that.
And then as far as the routine, as the scorings, and you're talking about the level of difficulty, what are the numbers, the range? 3 to 7? I mean, what basically are you looking at?
We saw a Yurchenko full, and that was at I think it was at a 5.0. And so I know the highest start value difficulty is a 7.0.
Wow.
So that's your Yurchenko 2.5s. We had from Cheng Fei from China.
And Olga opens up with a 14.350, which was better than her average in the qualifier. Now, how many people can show up for this event? I mean, is it an open gate, or what do you have to do? How many can each country send?
Each country is allowed to send 4 female gymnasts and 6 male gymnasts to compete in this World Cup event. Nice Yurchenko double full. Little step over to the side, out of the lines. Yeah, so 4 female gymnasts get to be sent from each delegation and 6 male gymnasts. Each country can put up 2 gymnasts per event and in the qualification, and then basically top 8 from each qualification event get to go to the finals. So here we're seeing the top 8 each qualification.
And there is prize money as well.
Yes, there is prize money. And if any gymnasts want to keep their eligibility, they just, for college, they just don't accept the prize money.
You get the medal and no money.
Hence me.
Yeah. Now, do you plan in the future 14.375 total score? Do you plan on competing in the World Championships, the World Cups in your future?
As of now, no. I'm having a lot of fun at UCLA. I'm in my 3rd year. I have 2 years of eligibility left for the gymnastics team. And, you know, we're getting ready for this season. Our competition season starts in January. And last year we had a difficult year for UCLA gymnastics. And so this year we're working hard, getting prepared earlier, and hope to have a great season. We have great freshmen on our team, so the potential is definitely there to do great things.
And right now we see 7th qualifier, Ajay von Vollegem. And she was adopted, actually. She was born in Brazil and adopted by a Belgian lady. And she resides now in Belgium. And she was the first Belgian gymnast to ever win a medal at a World Cup event. So the pride of the country right there. In 2005, she was 3rd in the European Champions. So we await our next competitor. Now, when do they know to go? Is there a light that goes off that says judges are ready for you to perform your routine?
Traditionally at Olympic events, World Cup events, and big international competitions, there is a board with a red stop light and a green go light. So it's different for the American gymnastics especially, because we're used to a judge there with a flag, and they raise the green flag. Well, as when you travel internationally, you wait for a sign. So.
And then once the light goes off or the flag is waved, do you have to go immediately?
You have 30 seconds to begin the vaults or the routine. Nice Yurchenko 1.5. She got great distance there. See the replay. Yurchenko laid out 1.5. Nice solid vault. This vault is out of a 5.5 difficulty level. With the new scoring system, they take the difficulty level and add it to the execution deductions taken, and that is the total score of the vault. Execution starts from a 10.0, and they deduct from there.
I like that format. 10. You know exactly what you get when it's 1 through 10.
Yes. I have to say it was a lot easier for viewers to gauge what was a good score, what was a bad score.
Right. So calculus, 14.575.
With the new code of points, so it definitely helps the gymnast who takes the risk, goes beyond the standard, and does the big gymnastics. It definitely rewards them. In the past, you'd see a lot of gymnasts do the standard stock gymnastics routines and still get the maximum start value. And you'd see some gymnasts do risky tricks, take the risk, possibly falling, messing up, and normally you'd see a trend of stock routines still being on top. So I just think that it's good in a sense that, you know, if you take risk, you're going to get rewarded for it. Yurchenko half on, front pike half off. That's unfortunate.
She does not seem too happy about that, for obvious reasons. Her Her first score, very competitive in the placements right now as we stand. And Yana Komarskova is in the lead still with a 14.500.
Oh.
Ooh.
See here, she basically lands with her hands and feet at the same time on the mat. It looks to me as though she started hiking off the horse, was maybe planning to be more open in a laid out position, and didn't have enough height off the horse to complete that to her feet.
What's the risk involved in this exact routine as far as potential injury? Is this one of the more dangerous exercises?
That's hard to say. All of them have their dangers of things. Obviously, this being the landing on the vault. A lot of the vaults, as she competed the Yurchenko 1.5, any vault that lands forward, it's definitely hard to see the ground. And generally in gymnastics, with forward landings, you'll see a lot of locked out knees, things like that, because people aren't being able to see the ground before you land, and so you don't know when to bend. But I don't know, it's hard. You know, every event, I mean, bars, you can peel off the bar.
Right. Now, when you're in the air, sometimes do you know, uh-oh, this isn't going to happen right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Can you just do the reservation?
At that point, there's nothing you can do, and that's why they teach gymnasts to learn how to fall when they're young. So, I mean...
It's the first thing you need to learn.
You use your cat-like instincts for the most part. Next up on vault, Yelena Zamolochkova.
Well done. Well done. You bailed me out on that. Hometown of Moscow. And she qualified third. And she has quite the resume. In 2006, she was 6th in the World Championships. She won the World Championships in 1999. In the 2000 Olympic Games, she got gold. She is well decorated.
Definitely. Yelena is known for her power. Back in 2000, was a huge asset to the Russian team. Gold on the vault, gold on the floor, and was contending for a gold in the all-arounds.
Now, we saw a 16-year-old, the youngest competitor in this final. Yelena is 24 years of age. Generally, what's the age? How long do the women gymnasts go career-wise?
Well, to be in this competition, in any big international competition, the gymnast has to be at least turning 16 in that competition year.
Okay.
So the youngest we might possibly see would be 15. Yurchenko double twist. Nicely done. Great stick. Just going to get a huge score for that.
Amazing stat here. She has won 11 world and Olympic medals over the past 7 years. That's cleaning house. That is cleaning house.
See the replay here. Yurchenko, double full. Beautiful form. Nice landing. Knows exactly where the landing is.
And Yelena will also be competing in the floor exercise. She qualified as well.
Perfectly straight with the horse. Now the judges really want to see control in the landing, and that's a huge thing on vault. And if you got control and the judges know where you are, that's what you want. Yurchenko half on, front pike half off. Little step out of the lines.
So she received a 15.2 for her first vault. Second vault a little less clean.
See the replay of this. This vault is out of a 5.6 difficulty level. Comes on. Okay, it looks as though she was attempting to do a layout. With this vault, if you're not perfectly straight laid out, the judges can take a huge deduction for that. And obviously, she got on the horse, felt like she didn't have enough power to lay the entire vault out to be able to land decently. She piked it. And we'll see how the judges are going to handle that.
And 14.9, so that now puts her in the lead. And Yana Komarskova Now second currently in the standings.
You see there on her score, the judges actually gave her a 1/10 penalty for stepping outside the lines.
And now we see the elder statesman, 31-year-old Oksana Chusovitina from Germany. And we saw her just last week as well.
Oksana is my inspiration. She's 31 years old, still competing.
She has a son. So in the 2003 World Championship, she was first.
Front handspring, front layout, full. Beautiful vault. That's out of a 5.9 start value.
What do you have to do to get a 7 start value?
Let's see the replay here. Handspring front full. Now that I'm thinking.
You there?
No. I know the guys are a 7. Either the girls are a 6 or a 7. Might have been a mistake what I said earlier. Because this is a extremely hard vault. And if the start value is a 5.9, it seems accurate that a 6.0 might be one of the highest they can get. But again, we're not going to focus on the difficulty levels because we're still not seasoned in that area yet.
It's all new, as her first score was a 15.200.
It's a huge score. Next vault, start value 5.7. Suk laid out 1.5 twists. Huge vault. Nice distance and height. Just stepped out of the lines, as you would call on vault out of bounds. Suk 1.5. Beautiful vault. If she would have just got a little bit more rotation forward for that landing, might have been looking at a vault champion here. She's going to get a few penalty tenths deducted for her because she steps outside of the lines.
As Oksana awaits her final score. And we will have the men coming up, and don't forget you are watching exclusive coverage of the FIG World Cup Gymnastics here on WCSN. And 14.937, so she takes the lead. And we will have one more competitor in the women's vault. That'll be Anna Pavlova, 19 years of age, from Russia. Second qualifier with a 14.925, and there's a look at Anna. She finished 5th on vault in Aarhus and was 5th in 2006 in the World Championships.
Yurchenko double twist, nicely done. Great amplitude off the horse. Anna's definitely known for her clean lines in gymnastics, and anything she does, her leg extension, her toe point, makes her gymnastics look phenomenal. See the replay here? Beautiful lines. Just a step back on the landing. She's going to get a nice score for that vault.
And that would be a controlled step back?
For the most part, yeah. It wasn't too out of control. She is going to get probably a 10th deduction for it, but all in all, it was a beautiful vault.
And this will be our final vault for the women's finals. From Stuttgart, Germany, and 15.175.
Yurchenko half on, front layout, half off. Beautiful vault again. Nice done. Nice done. Nicely done.
Nicely done.
What am I doing?
Untraditional.
That's right, untraditional, right? Non-traditional.
And she
that was great. That was huge.
You think we have a new leader in the clubhouse?
I think so. As the looks of things, I would say that
Wow.
that was enough to take the lead. Clean lines you see there on the replay. She gets in nice, and the horse does the entire layout half with a straight shape. That's what you want. We saw a couple girls earlier compete that same vault, and they had to actually pike it down, take a deduction on that.
And there you have it, final score 15.10, so Anna Pavlova will take the women's vault. And with our format, our little bit of a different format today, we're going to see the men come out, and then we will have medal ceremonies for the women's vault as well as the men's floor exercise coming up here on WCSN. As the boys get ready to come out, the floor exercise coming up.
See a nice crowd in the house there in Stuttgart, Germany for the 2006 World Cup prelims.
Bouncing around, and once again, we will have 8 competitors, 1 routine. As we take a look at the final board there, and Anna Pavlova wins the women's vault with a score of 15.100.
Silver is taken by Oksana Chisevitsina, and the bronze goes to Yelena Zamolodchikova.
And the men get ready to go here for the floor exercise final. Yevgeny Boganasiuk will begin. He will be our first up, the first of 8, and he was first in the 2006 World Cup in Ghent. And he qualified 8th with a score of 15.000. And his best event is this one right here. It would be the floor exercise.
Opening pass for Yevgeny. Beautiful pass, just goes out of bounds there. That's going to be a penalty deduction.
Now, are there required elements in the floor exercise for men's and women's, or do you have artistic license to basically do any routine that you want?
For the most part, nice third pass. For the most part, there's certain requirements as to you need a dance pass, you need a certain amount of bonuses from skills, and each skill has a bonus level and a difficulty level of an A through F. And so, I mean, traditionally, women's gymnastics, they have 3 to 5 tumbling passes and a couple dance bonuses, as well as the guys. 3 to 4 passes, they have a side pass, they have a scale to perform, some type of handwork on the floor. Triple twist, dismount, takes a big step to the side. It's a decent routine. See what the judges give him on that.
Now, do you want to get as close to the out of bounds in your passes, or does it matter just as long as you stay in bounds?
No, it doesn't matter at all as long as you stay inside those white lines.
Okay.
Generally for a gymnast, even being remotely close gets you a little nervous out there. I prefer to be in corner, a couple feet in, 2 to 4 feet in, and especially in line with the corner, with the diagonal.
And up next, the Croatian, Filip Juge, 20 years old. Qualified 6th with a score of 15.100. His nickname is FICO. I have no idea where he got that nickname, but little stat on him. In Moscow in 2006, he was first in the World Cup. And he has 2 wins in World Cup competition in 2006, as well as a 3rd and a 6th in the European Championship.
Filip is 20 years old. That's younger on for the guy side of gymnastics. For women, I want to say the average is more 18, 19, 20. Oksana definitely brings average up.
Yes, she does.
31.
31 years of age.
I just think that's awesome.
Yeah.
What an inspiration.
We begin our first pass. Wow.
Beautiful first pass. Two and a half front layouts. Nicely done. One and a half to a punch front full to a punch Rudy.
This always
Forward.
amazes me. Absolutely amazes me.
Nicely done. Guys have to have tremendous upper body strength to be able to do the flares on the floor like they do. It's insane. Difficult little side pass there. And you hear the horn blowing in the background. That's to let that's to let them know they have their time's almost up, and
tough way to end.
finishes with the fall. Had a great routine going on until then.
As you pointed out, a very nice crowd on hand in Stuttgart, Germany, for coverage of our FIG World Cup, the final preliminary World Cup final before the big day in Brazil, the 16th and the 17th. And you can see that exclusively here on WCSN.
These are called Thomas flares.
It was just a great routine until the very end, unfortunately. I believe we're going to see the final pass right here.
Final pass over handspring front double twist, and just doesn't get enough height to finish that.
As we await the score for Philip. And there we have 14.85.
Croatia isn't a typical country we see gymnasts come out of. Like I was saying, for the World Championship coverage, I think it's great that countries you don't traditionally see gymnasts come out of do so well and make it to finals.
This is Zhe Feng from China. A whole lot of information on him, but his best events are the parallel bars as well as the vault. And he did not make the parallel bars final.
Had a fall there on that Rudy. When it comes to combination passes like that, your timing has to be very accurate. And if it's off a little, you're not going to complete the skill well. Third pass, you see, he was a little low and actually tried to cover up a little bit and cheat his little skill down to the floor. We'll see what the judges are going to take on that. He opened up with a great Arabian double pike. So
a little hop right there. There's the horn that you pointed out. A little squeak.
finishes with a full twisting double back, little short landing.
How much time is allotted for the routine? Probably at the discretion of the judges, but you saw the little clock back there, and he was about 1 minute 15 seconds, I believe. So that's probably about the average.
Yeah, I would say so. Tough routine for Zhe Feng. Beautiful opening. And as routine goes on, we see here a little off.
Ooh.
And has to take the fall. It's too bad. Full twisting double back, little hop. Randy, it looks as though they have a kiss and cry area where they direct the gymnasts to after their routine.
What does it feel like when you're sitting there waiting to be judged?
I mean, if you had a phenomenal routine, then of course you're sitting back in those nice little couches thinking, yeah, you know, it went pretty well. But in his case, I think he just wants to get the score and get out of there.
13.9. Puts him third overall, as we've had 3 competitors. Coming up next, Brandon O'Neill, hailing from Canada, lives in Alberta, Edmonton, and he was our #1 qualifier coming up next. And here's a look at Brandon O'Neill. You get a break on a name for this one. And he won the Pan American Games in 2003. Wow.
Opens up with a double twisting double. Nicely done. 2.5, punch front full, punch front Rudy. Brandon has awesome power on this event. You see he's really dynamic off and pops right out of the floor on every tumbling skill that he performs. Canada really has been up and coming with their women's and men's programs. They did a phenomenal job in the 2006 World Championships as a team coming up in the rankings. They normally don't make the finals at all, and they were fairly high standings for them. Dismounts with a full twisting double back.
Who were the powerhouses?
Nicely done.
The powerhouse nations.
China took the gold medal for the men's. China took the gold medal for the women's.
Okay, so that's already answering my question.
Yeah, they did awesome, and it was very interesting to see China, because normally when you think of China, you think of inconsistent gymnastics, but outstanding gymnastics. And you're always worried about China because, you know, if they hit, they're going to win. And this 2006 World Championships, they hit.
Yeah.
And it was awesome to see. So, I mean, they did great, and we actually had the U.S. take second for the women as a team, so that was fairly decent for them, considering we had Chelsea Memel out and Alicia Sacramone not compete a few events. Nastia Leyukin, very strong all-rounder for the U.S., was only able to compete bars because of her sprained ankle.
Tremendous height there from Brandon O'Neill. And he takes the lead at 15.450.
Excuse me, at the 2006 World Championships, Alicia, she actually competed, she was healthy and competed all the events that she made finals in. There was a discrepancy between her floor routine the first day of competition, and that's why she didn't make floor finals as normally she would.
Bouaji Bolig from Tunisia takes the floor. Qualified 4th, and this is his best event. He won the bronze in 2004, becoming the first Tunisian to ever win a medal at a World Cup.
This is a quick one compared to everyone else. He's came onto the floor and his passes brought him out like bang, bang, bang.
Gets right to it. Ready for another pass.
Last pass, full twisting double back. Little hop, but solid routine.
As far as difficulty on that one, he did kind of fly right by. Where would you say that is? About average?
I would say it's average. I didn't see any spectacular, huge, risky tumbling, but all in all, what he did was very dynamic and powerful. It's so different. You watch the women's gymnasts, and you know, they're floor teams, they have the music, so
Right.
it engages the crowd and it breaks the tension of the silence in the arena. And with the guys, it's complete silence, and
I like the women's better, to be honest.
you can almost hear the crickets chirping in the background.
Yeah.
Men's floor.
As far as the crowds go, is it kind of like tennis where the crowd stays quiet during a routine, or do they get into it?
For the most part, it's gymnastics etiquette to stay more quiet and composed. And that is definitely due to the fact that making too much noise or obscure sounds could take the gymnast off their focus. And with gymnastics, you know, I mean, in basketball or something, if you lose your focus, you're going to lose the ball. In gymnastics, you lose your focus, you could potentially fall and get severely injured.
As we see the score, good for second place, 15.250. So Brandon O'Neill from Canada is still our leader. And for people new to gymnastics, I don't really think they know the exact dangers involved. When you have a spill, it's bad.
This is Germany's hometown boy, Fabian Hambuchen.
Well done. Second qualifier. Won 2 bronze medals at the 2006 World Championships all around in the vault. Whoa.
Beautiful first pass. That was huge. 2.5. Punch front half, punch front double, punch back double twist. Nicely done. This boy's a little powerhouse. A little short there, off to the side, but his explosion off the floor.
You were talking about the strength of these guys, so evident in this routine. Like I was saying.
Nicely done. That's impressive. Fabian's only 19 years of age and was first on floor X in the 2004 DTB World Cup.
Ooh.
Ends with a full twisting double back with a stick. That was a huge routine for Germany.
So this is when it's fun to go sit in that chair and await your score. He's very happy with himself, the 19-year-old German. And the crowd seems to certainly respect that as we take a look at his coach, Wolfgang Hambuchen. So all smiles right there. Very nice routine as he takes his chalk to go home.
Here's a replay of Fabian's first pass. Huge. Nicely done. Again, we have exclusive coverage of the 2006 World Cup prelims coming at you from Stuttgart, Germany. So this is Germany's hometown boy, Fabian.
And our leader right now is Brandon O'Neill with a 15.450, and it's going to be very interesting to see what Fabian gets. Having a little fun with the camera. He seems very delighted with his performance. And as you pointed out, yeah, he is a fire plug. Oh, we hear the crowd in the background. 15.60, and he has the lead.
That's a great score. And difficulty level, they gave Fabian a 6.2, which is considered to the new code a very good score for difficulty.
And here we have Aichi Sekiguchi from Japan. Qualified 5th with a score of 15.200, and he was 6th in the 2005 World Championships. As he's ready for his first pass. Sekiguchi is 26 years of age. Little hop there.
Looks to me as though he might have planned something more in that first pass and was off in timing and had to stop the pass. Then again, that's just my guess. I don't.
Sounds about right. Oh.
Oh, a little out of bounds there. Whip 2.5.
Nice.
Down to the floor. Very nice. A lot of the countries, they send some of their more experienced gymnasts to the World Championships. Of course, World Championships and Olympic Games are the two biggest competitions for gymnasts. And as we're seeing, a lot of the gymnasts from the different countries are gymnasts they've sent to get more experience.
Short.
Short on that dismount. That's too bad. Like I was saying, they send to the World Cup sometimes gymnasts that haven't been at big meets just to get experience, and we are in the middle of a quadrennium, so we have 2 years until the Olympic Games. This is definitely good podium practice for a lot of them.
Toe a little bit out of bounds there, as we saw just moments ago. Just short. There's Fabian, our current leader at 15.600, and Sakaguchi awaits his score.
Fabian's, I'm sure, sitting there right now, secure in his kiss and cry chair.
And yeah, 14.225 for Sakaguchi.
And that score puts Sakaguchi in 6th place.
And up next will be David Royal from the Czech Republic. He was the 3rd qualifier. Best event is the floor exercise, and this is his 11th appearance at the World Cup floor exercise since 2003, so he's been getting around.
This year at the Moscow World Cup, David placed 3rd on the floor exercise. Here he goes for his first pass. Nicely done. Oh,
a little stumble there.
A little short on the twist, actually. If you looked closely, you see that he didn't actually finish the 1.5 twist, but set up quick, finished out of it, and tried to mask the mistake for the most part. We'll see how the judges handle that.
And this is our last finalist, David Royal. So right now, Fabian Hambuchen, the hometown kiddo, is looking pretty good as far as the standings. 15.600 in his floor routine.
Nice side pass. Last pass with a 2.5 twist. Solid routine. I don't think it's enough to overtake Fabian's 1st place rank, but you know, it was decent. It's always nice to have the meet you're in your own country and
win. You get a medal, you get a paycheck, and you get to be a celebrity. Solid routine here for David Royal. If I were a betting man, though, I would say that Hambuchen will retain the lead, as that is our final competitor for the men's floor exercise. And don't forget, coming up here on WCSN with our exclusive coverage of the FIG World Championships, we will have the men's pommel horse coming up, and that should be an interesting one as well. A very competitive group that we'll be seeing as we await the score. And then following the pommel horse, we'll have the still rings, which I still can't believe those guys can do what they're doing out there. And then the women will have the spotlight last for the uneven bars. And there's a 15.225, so Fabian Hambuchen does win the men's floor exercise final here in 2006. So the German crowd here at Stuttgart, Germany, waving the flags, very happy as we see the final order there. And Fabian Hambuchen pretty much ran away with this, with Canadian Brandon O'Neill with a final score of 15.450. So gold medal goes to the hometown hero, Fabian Hambuchen. And we will have medal ceremonies throughout this telecast here on WCSN. And getting back to that format, a little bit different. A lot of times we've seen now in World Cup competition, they do the medal ceremony all at once, where everybody comes out at the ending of the meet. However, a little bit of a twist here in Stuttgart, as they'll do a couple of events, have a medal ceremony, and then go back to the live event, and then a couple more medal ceremonies. So a little bit different format.
In my experience, Randy, I've competed in certain events where they have done in certain finals, I should say, where they've done the event, then the medal ceremony, then the event, and the medal ceremony. That definitely isn't very nice to the gymnast.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah, because we're sitting there, you're getting cold, it takes a lot longer time. You're up and ready to go, and then you got to get down for half an hour, and then you got to get back up for half an hour. So that's definitely a challenge. And
it's like the human brain delay.
Right, and something you really don't necessarily want to deal with. But I think it's great how they set it up, where they had a women's event start, so the women have a huge break to get down, stretch, chill out, and then get their energy back up at the last rotation of this World Cup event for today.
How much warm-up is involved for the different exercises? Do you get to touch the apparatus? Do you jog? I mean, obviously stretching's in order, but what do you do to warm up?
At the beginning of the competition, we usually get an open time of 30 minutes for general stretch on the floor exercise. And on a final, it's different format. I'm guessing that the gymnasts got a couple minutes each. Usually it's 2 minutes each per apparatus, and then also a 30-second touch on the event right before they go, just to make sure they're warm.
Now, this particular medal ceremony, does it always the winner go up to the podium first?
Yes.
Okay. Uh-oh, somebody late to the show. That's Fabian Hambuchen just kind of rushing up there. Might want to go up there and get your gold.
I'm sure he was getting big smiles and hugs from his family and friends in the crowd.
There's your hero. 31 years of age and still competing.
And better than ever.
Fantastic story. What do you do with the flowers?
Usually, I know it's going to be a long haul home and they're not going to last, so I like to throw them into the audience, or give them to an elderly woman. Or
oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
And there's your winner, Anna Pavlova, for the women's vault final here in our final preliminary World Cup competition of 2006. And once again, the finals you can see exclusively on WCSN December 16th and 17th from Brazil. And there's the final order of finish for the women's vault, and smiles all around. And there's another look at Anna Pavlova's wonderful vault. So we have 2 finals down. We have 5 total today. 3 more to come. So we're going to have the men with a couple routines coming up, the pommel horse and the still rings, and then women's uneven bars. And don't forget, we will have exclusive coverage of day 2. That'll be tomorrow. Randy Durgis with Tasha Schwickert. And there he is. And you can definitely tell where the event is being held. Stuttgart, Germany. And there's Fabian. Lots of cheers going around. 19 years of age. Boy, he's still beaming. Can't get the smile off his face. Doesn't know quite where to go.
Our silver medalist on the floor exercise goes to Brandon O'Neill from Canada. His great performance.
And one more to go here. There's Brandon O'Neill from Canada taking the silver. The pride of Tunisia. Shaking hands right there. Very happy for his bronze medal. And that pretty much concludes our ceremony for the men's floor exercise. And we will turn to the pommel horse as we are cruising right along with great action from Stuttgart, Germany. And there's a look at the final results. Fabian Hambuchen from Germany takes the gold for the hometown group.
Once again, this is the last World Cup event, last preliminary World Cup event for this season, and the World Cup final will be held in Brazil on December 16th and 17th. WCSN will be showing exclusive coverage of that event, so tune in. Again, that is December 16th and 17th.
And for this 24th annual DTB Cup, there were 105 athletes entered in this, 32 females, 73 males from 32 different countries. And so that is quite an event, taking gold there for Fabian Hambuchen. And we continue on with the pommel horse final.
The pommel horse final will be the second event for the men today out of 3. So we've got the pommel horse coming up, and then followed by the still rings, and still one more women's rotation of the uneven bars.
As the arena is shifting around to go over to the pommel horse apparatus.
Normally at Olympics and World Championships, there's a lot more excitement and a lot more going on. I feel like at a World Cup event, most of them, it's a little more laid back and relaxed atmosphere because it's based purely on individual medals.
With the crowd on hand, and coming up next, our first competitor for the pommel horse will be Lewis Smith, age 17, just 17 years of age, from Great Britain. He'll be the first of 8 qualifiers for this. He qualified 3rd overall, and I like this. He admires Muhammad Ali. So, 17-year-old, surprised that that's one of his heroes, Muhammad Ali. You don't see too many crossings between gymnasts and boxing, but hey, a hero's a hero.
Who's your hero, Randy?
You. For pronouncing these names.
Well, likewise.
So thank you very much. So we do have a little bit of a delay between events because of the medal ceremony.
Randy, let's talk about your experience in gymnastics. Or lack thereof, I should say.
When I was 5. I started when I was 5 on a swing set, and then quit when I was 5 and a half.
There you go.
I wouldn't have the courage, honestly, and I mean that. I wouldn't have the courage to be a gymnast. After watching more and more of it, the danger factor. I mean, I'd be scared to death to do the floor exercise and dive and tuck my head into a somersault. I mean, Iron Cross looks painful. The rings, I mean, that looks like death warmed over. I mean, just looking at the apparatus of the rings right there, it looks like a torture device. So,
torture device.
And I'm pretty sure that I wouldn't ever have the strength, but no, I'm certainly impressed and have the utmost respect for these, especially at this level. But yeah, it's just and I'm a little accident prone anyway. I could see myself getting dinged up real easy. But how old were you when you started?
I started when I was 3.
Sweet.
Yeah, so walking on a balance beam is like brushing your teeth. It's just daily routine.
You have had some injury problems, so.
Yes, actually I had shoulder surgery last year.
So is generally, do you start that young?
For the most part, yes. Most gymnasts you'll probably see at this level started between the ages of 3 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
I know in China and Romania, they have a system of where they try to handpick the kids more so, as far as body type and flexibility and coordination at a young age. Probably get them in, so they can get them training early at hopefully a sport that they feel like they'll excel the most at in their future life. So, yeah, but I mean, I tried other sports when I was young. Soccer, I did swimming, I did softball.
Tennis?
My mom was a professional tennis player with my aunt. I was supposed to be a tennis player.
Of course.
Yes, but she'd get me on the court when I was 6. And
that didn't go over well?
No. Throw me balls. Hit them, Tasha. And I'd throw my racket down and throw
that was the end of that.
She's like, we know what sport you want to do.
Were you pushed by your parents in gymnastics?
Not at all. It was purely my decision the entire time.
That's good.
Yeah, it was. I commend my parents on that. I'm so thankful to have parents who put my gymnastics career in my own hands.
Is there a lot of that in gymnastics with the overbearing parents? You see that a lot in tennis, where a lot of the kids kind of burn out early because they probably aren't there at their own will.
Well, especially in sports when the kids are typically younger and peaking at a young age, like gymnastics and skating, and I mean even tennis. You see a couple teenagers out there at on the pro tour. I mean, it's hard to. I mean, you're young. And, of course, your parents need to guide you, but then again, there's that fine line between guidance and pushing your child,
to the brink.
Right, and wanting it more than them. And when you're a child, you don't know any better. You know, when you're 15 and you're at the peak of your career, you don't know. So, but no, my parents were awesome. I mean, it was to the point where if they heard I was even slacking off in gym, they were like, you know, I mean, what's going on, Tasha? So, no, it was completely in my hands, which was great. And it helped me be independent and learn a lot.
Now, when you trained as a young woman and things like that, or as a little girl, better yet said, were you sent somewhere to train, or did mom drop you off at gymnastics and pick you up? How did that work?
No, I actually ended up having the same coach when I was young, Cassie Rice, from age 7 to 19. It was awesome years of my life, and I couldn't say enough about her. She's an awesome person.
And we begin our pommel horse final. Lewis Smith, 17 years of age, from Great Britain, the big fan of Muhammad Ali.
Nice routine going so far. Extensions decent. See him continuously moving up and down the horse. Did some one pommel work and dismount. Nicely done.
And unlike the women's vault, just one performance on the pommel horse for the men.
Yes, just one performance. The pommel horse for the men is like the bounce beam to the women. It's extremely easy to fall off. One clip of the leg on the wood pommel, and you're off. Praying that you didn't, knock your shin out. Because.
So it's made out of wood?
Right, made out of wood.
Any padding on it?
Not out of the wooden pommel. The horse has padding, but you're not worried about the horse to hit. It's the pommel that you're worried about. Lewis, just 17 years of age, one of the younger competitors here.
I believe that's the youngest male we've seen so far today.
That's what I was going to say. Quite possibly could be the youngest guy here at this World Cup prelims.
Resides in Huntington. And he was third at Glasgow in the 2005 World Cup.
And he was #1 in 2004 in the Junior European Championships. So, a nice start to a young career, making the finals here at Stuttgart, Germany, for the FIG World Championships, as we await the score here for Lewis Smith. And then next up, Mori Takahito from Japan will be coming up, 22-year-old from Tokyo.
Once again, we see a nice shot of the kiss and cry area where they have directed the gymnasts to sit and wait their score.
Is that what it's called universally? Or did you just make that up?
I don't know. I just got that from skating. You know, they have the kiss and cry area where they place them.
And 15.450 score for Lewis Smith.
It's what I'm going to call it. I don't know what it's called, but
the chair.
The chair.
And here we see Mori Takahito, 7th qualifier. And he was a member of the bronze medal winning Japanese team at the World Championships in Aarhus. And also qualified in the parallel bars and high bar in Aarhus. Interesting wrap on his arm.
All right, let's see what he's got. Nicely done. All right.
Wow.
Nice flares.
Whoop.
Had a little mistake there. Oh. Huge mistake and a fall. That's tough.
Mori Takahito, he got off to such a nice start and started to lose it towards the end, so unfortunate for our second finalist. Moving right along, so obviously a disappointing effort. And David Durante will be up next, the American 5th qualifier. So we take a second look here at Mori Takahito, or at least part of him.
The aerial view. You can imagine with the weight distribution of the pommel horse. I mean, all upper body strength, but the second you've got more weight on one side, whether it's your legs or your upper body, you're gonna fall off that thing.
So a little disappointed there, obviously. As the judges are deducting points for the mistakes. He was the 7th qualifier. I'm assuming coaches right there looking on.
That's tough to be placed in a kiss and cry when the routine didn't go as planned.
Right. Sure, it seems like forever too.
Oh yeah. I'm sure he's thinking, okay, I know I'm not really. I know I had a huge mistake. But then again, it's such an honor to be in a final in a World Cup.
Well, yeah, 73 males all competing in these different routines and events. And if you hit that top 8, take that. And here we see David Durante from the United States of America. Lives in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and he was the 5th qualifier. He was the alternate to the U.S. World Championship team in 2006. 7th in the World Cup at Sao Paulo. And in the U.S. Championships in 2002, a couple years ago, but he was 3rd.
Dave's a nice dynamic pommel horse worker. Nicely done.
Wow.
Fantastic routine.
Nice routine. So our leader, Lewis Smith from Great Britain, right now at 14.50 after 2 competitors. This will be our 3rd competitor, David Durrani, looking to get above a 15.45 to take the lead, but a very clean routine. Nice overhead view there. Got the bronze medalist in the 2002 U.S. Championships. Now, so far throughout our coverage of the World Cup, we've seen a couple Americans, but not a whole lot. Is there a reason for that? Do the U.S. gymnastic competitors, do they stay at home mostly?
It just depends when the World Cup is taking place, what time of year. I know the U.S. delegation sent 1 woman, which is Jana Bieger, and 2 men, Dave Durante and Kevin Tan, to compete in these World Cup event. You know, it's at this time of the year after the World Championships, it's kind of like a downtime for everyone. You want to heal injuries. We saw Nastia and Chelsea have injuries at the World Championships, so you know that they're going to be down definitely at this time. And you know, it's just a transition time. 2007 is coming up. We have a World Championship. We have the American Cup coming up, and people are trying to upgrade the routines for the new code. And so a World Cup event, especially at the end of October, is it something that's priority, I would say, for the U.S. delegation at this time.
And there you saw the score for David Durrani, a 14.750. Up next from Japan as well, Tomita Hiroyuki, 26 years of age, from Tokyo, 4th qualifier. Won 3 medals at the 2006 World Championships, silver in the all-around and on parallel bars, and bronze with the Japanese team.
Nice single pommel bar work. This guy has great extension on this event.
He was 8th in the 2004 Olympic Games, as well as 8th in the World Championships in 2005.
Clean so far. Outstanding routine.
Coach is a little bit more happy with Tomita's performance as opposed to Mori Takahito, who had a little bit of trouble with his dismount. But a very nice effort there. And Lewis Smith, the one to catch here, 15.450, his score. Concentration you can see right there on his face.
Nice extension he gets.
Well done. A little wobbly there. Overall, a very nice routine as the judges continue to work. Up next will be Luis Rivera from Puerto Rico as we await the score for that man right there, Tomita Hiroyuki. And 15.325, so that puts him in 2nd right now behind Lewis Smith. Respectable score there. And Luis Rivera will be up next, hailing from Puerto Rico, 20 years of age. He was the 8th and final qualifier for pommel horse. In 2005, a nice year there in the pommel horse. He was #1 at Rio de Janeiro in the World Cup. As he begins his routine. Very nice effort right now. Okay, my mistake. This is actually Vidhigivi from Hungary, 5th qualifier here. 6th in the 2006 European champions, 5th in the DTB Cup. Nice transition.
Get it up. Nicely done. Vid qualified 5th to the finals, 15.3 and tied with David Durante from the United States.
Weltcup-Turnen der DTB-Pokal in Stuttgart ist eines der Highlights im Sportjahr.
A second look at Vid's performance for the 20-year-old. Nice transition there. And our leader continues to be the young one, the 17-year-old Lewis Smith from Great Britain. Another nice look at the dismount, very clean. Seems pretty happy there, big smile. Happy with his routine, and rightfully so. No cheating. Very happy. So the judges, do they basically take their score and give it to a master judge and then they calculate it?
That's what I'm thinking is happening. I know there's one jury that sits on one side, jury panel A, and there's jury panel B, and they each give their score to one person who totals them and puts it in.
So, and they're 15-1-5-0. So no lead change here. And now, if I can get this correct, we will move on to Luis Rivera from Puerto Rico, 20-year-old. He was the 8th qualifier and first in the World Cup in Rio de Janeiro in the year of 2005. Intense.
Great work so far. Nice aggressive pommel horse worker. That's extremely hard.
His hands are so busy.
Fantastic.
Wow, what an effort there by the 20-year-old Luis Rivera from Puerto Rico. Goes over to Tasha's kiss and cry area. He's got to be pretty happy with that effort. Not a ton of emotion there, but some nice sportsmanship there by the other competitors. So, hasn't really cracked a smile yet, but this is impressive right here.
Look at that aggressive handwork.
And 15.450 will be the score to beat, as we will have just a couple more, 2 more competitors for the pommel horse final. That'll be Aburki Christian from Hungary and Kurikov Nikolai from Russia. And then we will have the rings competition, and then we will go back to the women. But a very nice performance there by Luis Rivera. And as you were pointing out before, you can see the upper body strength.
Typically on the pommel horse, a man with a longer, leaner body type will show a better pommel horse routine. It's just the lines to the human eye. It looks nicer.
Which is polar opposite of the rings.
Right, exactly.
Where
the rings,
you have a tank, basically.
You need a tank for the top and a tiny bottom.
15.025, so a nice performance there for the 20-year-old. 2 more competitors for the pommel horse final.
Christian Berkey from Hungary is next to go on the pommel horse. He's 21 years old from Budapest. qualified first into these pommel horse finals with a 15.85 and missed competing in the 2006 World Championships because of an injury.
And he has quite a resume as well. In 2005, he was first in the European Championships, and he was second in the 2006 World Cup in Ghent. So very well decorated. Now, are the competitors we're seeing today in the World Cup, and especially the World Cup finals that'll be held in Brazil, that you can see exclusively here on WCSN?
Look at his extension.
Will we see these competitors in the Olympics potentially?
Possibly some of them.
Nice performance there.
Outstanding performance from Christian Berkey from Hungary. Yeah, a lot of the gymnasts, I won't say a lot, I say you'll definitely see some of these gymnasts here in 2 years at the 2008 Olympic Games in Beijing, China. Again, as Bart and I were saying last week, this is the middle of the quadrennium. You're 2 years out from an Olympics, you have 2 years to go to an Olympics. So a lot of countries didn't actually even send their strongest team to the 2006 World Championships. A lot of them are in a rebuilding phase for their program. And like we're seeing here at this DTB World Cup, a lot of gymnasts, the countries are sending just to get experience and, you know, see what the gymnast is made of. Mm-hmm. Basically a tester to see how they go. And
an audition almost.
That's right.
This was a fantastic performance by Berkey. And 15.750, so he now takes the lead, and Lewis Smith now in second, and number one rank there for Berkey Christian from Hungary.
Fabulous routine.
So we have 15.750, a new leader here in the pommel horse final from Stuttgart, Germany, that you're watching right here on WCSN. Randy Durgis alongside Tasha Schweikert. And Nikolai Kuryakov up next from Russia. And he was first in the World Cup in Stuttgart in 2005, so a little bit of local knowledge. Second qualifier, 1999 World All-Around Champion, and 1996 Olympic champion with his team from Russia. He is 27 years of age, one of the older competitors that we have seen so far today, 10 years older than Lewis Smith from Great Britain, who's currently in second.
Nice.
Beautiful. Wow. Gets a little bit of a reaction from the crowd.
Gets a nice lift off the horse. Look at him go.
Wow. What a performance by the 27-year-old Russian. Christian Berkey probably not real happy to see that with the final competitor up there.
That was a beautiful routine.
15.750, hugs all around, a very nice effort. Big smiles, but very dynamic performance. Absolutely beautiful to watch. Then a very difficult dismount. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. Fist pump there.
Gives the peace sign.
Think I got it. Big smile there. All business for the judges, however. A couple of deep breaths. And 15.60, so not quite good enough to win, but a very, very nice effort. Probably a little sigh of relief there from Christian Berkey from Hungary. As we continue on, the 2006 FIG World Cup Gymnastics competition from Stuttgart, Germany. So we still have the still rings to come. And then the women return as we have the uneven bars. And there it goes. Christian Berkey, 15.750. Lewis Smith, the 17-year-old, gets the bronze. And the Russian claims silver, 15.60. And the American, David Durante, 14.950, has to settle for 7th. And the pommel horse final in the books as next up, one of the most fascinating events, I believe, in gymnastics, the rings. Just the power and the strength and the grace as the Laker girls take the floor. The Laker girls.
Couldn't even tell the difference, Randy.
There you go. So we have a little bit of a delay right now. A little entertainment for the crowd. Can they frolic or what? So as everybody shifts around, as the stadium will focus on the still rings finals, 8 competitors, of course. We're watching exclusive coverage of gymnastics from Stuttgart, Germany, here on WCSN. And do not forget, December 16th as well as 17th, we will have the finals from Brazil. More exclusive coverage brought to you. You can only see it here on WCSN, the home of champions. A final look at your gold medal winner. We're just flying right along. We only have 2 more competitions, 16 more total competitors. The pommel horse and then the uneven bars with the women coming up after they got their breather. So
just a little breather.
Just a little breather.
Just a couple hour breather.
Because there are several competitors that are competing in the vault as well as the uneven bars.
Just enough time to take a nap, get a coffee, and
get a coffee, have a burger. As we roll on with continuing coverage from Stuttgart, Germany. And don't forget, join us tomorrow as we will continue and wrap up this coverage from Stuttgart, Germany. Another nice look there. As we will have a slight delay as we transition over to the still rings. And 8 competitors coming up for the still rings. Begin with a 28-year-old. Beautifully done right there. But they're back with answers.
Just I was saying that countries are sending gymnasts to get experience here.
Mm-hmm.
The hometown of Germany is sending their youth boys group to get experience on podium too.
There goes the drill team. Got to be exciting for the kids to get out there in front of a crowd
Definitely.
And do a little performance.
Definitely.
Kind of like when I was a little kid, if between innings I got to go play catch on the baseball field in front of everybody. Beautiful arena.
Tomorrow's exclusive coverage of the 2006 World Cup prelims. We will be showing the men's vault, the men's high bar, and the men's parallel bars, as well as the women's balance beam and the women's floor exercise.
Full plate tomorrow. I'm looking forward to the men's vault, the kamikaze style, 100 miles an hour, and hope you land it. As we have the medal ceremony right now for the pommel horse final.
These World Cup events are based purely on individual competition. There's no all-around here, and there's no team. So it's top medalists for the individual events, and at each ranking at a World Cup prelim event gives the gymnast points to collect to qualify into the World Cup finals, which will be held in Brazil December 16th and 17th.
What is gymnastics is an individual sport and a team sport. What are the relationships among teammates? Because a lot of times there's head-to-head competition, but at the same time you're supposed to bond together, kind of like golf when you're talking about the Ryder Cup. Give me some insight here as to what's really in your heart in that situation.
You know, there's an interesting dynamic of team sport in the sense in gymnastics. You know, like football, you literally rely on your other teammates on the field to pass the ball. Same thing with basketball. And this sport, you basically rely on your teammates to be there for moral support in you and to get you through the routine in that sense. But I mean, it really is individual. And then for the most part, I mean, my team I'm on right now, UCLA, we have 100% trust in each other, completely support each other. There's
animosity?
No animosity. Camaraderie, but no animosity.
Now, is that different when you start to get on U.S. national teams and Olympic teams and things like that?
I think the intensity rises as you're competing for your country, but at the same time, I mean, when it's team day, you're all about the team, and it's whoever's in the lineup, it's for the best interest of the team.
As the crowd continues to celebrate with our second medal ceremony. And there's a look, and Christian Berkey takes the gold, and we will move on to the still ring. So 2 more competitions left, 2 more finals. That will conclude the day's coverage here on WCSN, but as Tasha pointed out, don't forget to tune in tomorrow for more coverage from Stuttgart, Germany. Getting the wrist support right now as we move on to the rings.
Those are what we called grips.
Grips? Thank you. You have to teach me these things.
Grips, and then the gymnasts need the chalk to be able to hold on. It makes it so, you know, there's a great deal of support, and there's no slipperiness at all.
Kind of interesting. I was talking about the physique of the still ring competitors, and a little bit slender seems to be Iridotos, the 28-year-old from Cyprus.
He is a little guy, but it looks like he has huge muscles, and too, I mean, if you have less weight to carry, it's going to be easier to hold yourself up on those still rings.
Fascinating.
Iron cross. Press.
Amazing the strength that it takes to compete in this. Dismount. Oh!
Full twisting double lap dismount, and doesn't get enough kick off the rings to be able to complete that.
A little bit of a disappointing effort there for our first competitor. He was second in Ghent in the 2006 World Cup, 8th in the 2001 World Championships. He's the oldest gymnast in the rings final at the age of 28, and he was the 7th qualifier with a score of 15.250.
He had a nice routine going till that dismount. Beautiful iron cross.
And just a little bit short.
Not enough height off the ring to get it around.
His coach disappointed, but still supportive. Tough performance there. Our second competitor will be yet another Russian, Alexander Balandin, 17 years of age, so another very young competitor. So the judges are calculating the score for our first competitor for the still rings final. A couple of moments and another time where it's, can I please leave now? Waiting the score.
Now in the new code of points, for the men to be able to receive bonus on the still rings, you have to do skills in ascending order. So you have to go from bottom to pressing up to top to be able to get bonus.
Okay.
If you're coming from top descending down to a skill, there's no more bonus connection anymore.
Okay.
Or bonus given for the skills.
Listen in. 15.550. A little surprised at that score, to be honest.
Not bad considering it's fallen.
Yeah.
Falls right 10th, so.
Up next, Alexander Balandin, 17 years of age, from Russia, 6th qualifier. This is his first World Cup event, and he is the youngest gymnast in the rings final. He was second in the 2006 Russian Cup and was second in the 2006 Junior European Championships. Beautiful. Completely under control. I could do that. Oh.
It's going to be a deduction there, but very impressive that he held on to it and didn't lose control out of that handstand.
Dismount. Oh, and to his knees.
Again, from our second competitor, not enough kick up to be able to complete that full twisting double layout dismount.
And 17-year-old, so he's got quite a future ahead of him as well, starting young. Second in the Junior European Championships and second in the Russian Cup, both in 2006. But a couple of slight errors there. Tremendous control this part of the routine. Amazing athleticism.
The dismount. To me, it actually looks like he twists a little too early off the rings. Doesn't get the kick and start the flip before he starts the twist. And that's where he got into trouble and didn't get enough height off the still ring to complete the dismount.
He looks young, too.
Yes, he does.
Crowd really enjoying themselves out there at Stuttgart, watching the World Championships. And 14.725. So the low score there, 8.0. So Alexander Balandin, after two competitors, remains in first. Regula Carmona from Venezuela, up next, 25 years old, second best qualifier in here. Just missed the rings in Aarhus, was the first alternate. Will turn 26 on October 31st, so a Halloween kid. Number one in the 2005 Paris World Cup. He won that event. Hometown is Caracas, Venezuela. Now that's what I'm talking about, the upper body. Amazing shoulders.
Wow. Didn't really get the nice pause on that handstand.
Not bad.
Decent dismount.
Well, somebody stayed up.
That's right.
so that's a positive.
We've got 1 of 3.
And that might be good enough early on to take the lead through 3 competitors. Regulo Carmona.
Look at that strength.
Just looks fun, doesn't it? It's like somebody watching a marathon. How do you get it? I want to do that. That looks fun. Cross-country skiing the same way. Amazing strength. Amazing. The definition of a world-class athlete.
I was actually at the store the other day, Randy, and I think I saw a special for the flange and the iron cross. $9.99.
So, and a nice effort there as far as the dismount is concerned. And our clubhouse leader right now, 15.550. Now we have a new leader. Very nice score of 16.175 for Regulo Carmona.
And that guy's difficulty was huge. 7.0 difficulty score. That's the first we've seen of the meet today.
Yeah, I believe the second highest we've seen was 6.90.
Right.
And up next, we're going to have one of my favorites, Robert Gál from Hungary, 27 years of age, hometown of Budapest. He was the 8th and final qualifier for the still rings. And this is his first World Cup rings final, but events with the floor and vault. He got the bronze at both the 2005 DTB Cup, excuse me.
Look at that.
Again, maintaining wonderful control.
A little archy there.
Yeah.
Didn't get. All right.
Wow, very nice.
Now, a gymnast who shows ultimate control, you'll see very little movement in the still ring.
Whoop.
A little different dismount than we've seen today.
Yeah.
It was a front double pike dismount, which is a lot harder to land than a back landing because you're completely blind to the ground as you're coming down.
So, and a step back. Very nicely done. So a little bit of arch in the one cross and then a little bit of trouble with that pike. All in all, not a bad effort, but again, the degree of difficulty play a factor in this. So Regulo Carmona is the current leader. 16.175 is the score to beat, or the need to lead score.
Need to lead.
One of my favorite phrases. And we just saw a brief look at Kevin Tan from the United States of America, 25 years of age. He'll be coming up next. Resides in State College, Pennsylvania.
All right, the jury A gives him a 5.9 in difficulty, and his final score is a 14.7, which is good enough for 4th place.
Kevin Tan up next. Here's the American, 25 years of age, 4th qualifier. Nice controlled effort there. Oh, wonderful.
Could be a little straighter with legs. Nicely done.
Easy for you to say.
All right. Great control here. Nice extension of his handstands. Beautiful dismount.
Excellent.
That's what we're looking for.
A wonderful performance, and Kevin absolutely sticks the dismount. A couple of handshakes, pat on the back, and a job well done. There's that artificial handshake that I was referring to before. Yeah, way to go. Beat it.
His dismount, man, puts a huge exclamation point on this routine. See there, a little bit of hesitation as he's going through. And there he could be a lot straighter. A little bit too piked there. And he presses up to a nice hold.
Dismount almost flawless.
Yeah, gorgeous dismount. Look at that.
Boom.
Nails it. Knows exactly where the floor is.
Oh, crack a smile. you can do it. You deserve it. So Kevin Tan from the United States, from Fremont, California. Resides at State College, Penn State University. He was 5th in the 2000 World Cup in Lyon. 4th qualifier here, so 16.075, so that does put him in 2nd right now.
Huge score for Kevin. 6.9 in difficulty.
Der Herr der Ringe. Er handelt
So two more competitors in the still rings. Yuri van Gelder, 26 years of age, from the Netherlands, qualified first overall for this final. 11 World Cup gold medals on the ring since 2003, and he was third in the World Championships in 2006. 2005, he was first.
Yuri is phenomenal on the still rings.
And we're seeing a little taste of that right now. Wow.
Look at that guy's shoulders. It's almost scary.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Nice handstand. Look at his control. It's huge.
Wow. Wow.
Awesome routine by Yuri.
That's why you have 11 medals, sir, since 2003. And he doesn't compete in any other apparatus other than the rings. And he's just about perfected that as we await the score for Yuri van Gelder.
That's why it's nice to have these World Cup events, and most recently gymnastics has moved from the all-around competition to individual events, rankings, and medalists, and that's definitely a plus for Yuri.
How much of a difference in the level of competition is there between the World Cup and the Olympics?
Generally, your Olympics, you're sending your best competitors available at that time. World Cup, I mean, like I said,
You'll get some.
We sent one American.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously Olympics is purely team-based for the most part, the huge part of the Olympic Games, and then there's individuals. But you know, this is me. You know, after the season, to get gymnast experience and get them up on a podium. Podium competitions don't come too often.
And we have ourselves a new leader. 16.525, so that moves Yuri van Gelder past Regulo Carmona in the lead with one competitor remaining. Thomas Andergassen from Germany, another local. He resides in Stuttgart, actually, so he's very much a hometown hero in here, the age of 26. Third best qualifier in here, was 7th in the 2006 World Championships. He gets a hoist up. And he was 8th in the European Championships in the rings in 2006.
Doing decent so far. A couple of those holds could be held a little bit more precise. Not quite hitting the positions we saw from Yuri. All in all, it's going well. Nicely done.
Nice round of applause in the dismount.
Beautiful dismount. Great landing.
So Thomas Andergassen, our last competitor in the still rings final here on WCSN. A little fist pump for the hometown crowd. And the score to beat, 16.525. Yuri van Gelder from the Netherlands, currently with the lead. And then this will lead us into our final event, the women's uneven bars final. And that will wrap up our coverage today from Stuttgart, Germany, but we will be back tomorrow. The hold, and then we will have the dismount.
Nice way to wrap up the day in the men's competition, to end with hometown hero Thomas Andergassen from Germany.
Resides in Stuttgart. So obviously getting a little bit of hometown cooking in there. 15.90. So Yuri van Gelder will take the still rings final in Stuttgart, Germany. Well, we got off to a little bit of a slow start in the rings, nobody being able to get the landing down, but very nice towards the tail end with Yuri van Gelder, a winning score of 16.525.
It's definitely the biggest score we've seen in these finals so far.
Oh, and I'm sorry. we have one more. I apologize.
We will both apologize. I thought we were finished.
I did too. And this is Tomito Harayuki, who we saw earlier today from Osaka. And he was 4th in the Olympics in 2004 and 4th in the 2002 World Championships. So he has faced the best of the best. He was the 5th best qualifier for this final, 15.750. Won 3 medals at the 2006 World Championships. And then we'll have the uneven bars coming up next.
Outstanding
Nice.
control.
Very fluid.
Tomita has some great lines in all of his gymnastics he performs. Nice extension of the legs and toes, and definitely accentuates
Whoop, little
all
hop there.
movements.
And now I can say that was our final competitor for the Still Rings final. Nice round of applause from the crowd for the 26-year-old, who was 4th once again in the 2004 Olympic Games. Outstanding control, as you were pointing out.
Nicely done.
And the score to beat, 16.525, currently held by Yuri van Gelder. Netherlands, nice dismount, little hop right there. Nothing too bad.
All in all, that was a fantastic routine.
And 15.825, so a nice effort there, but not enough for the gold, as it will be Yuri van Gelder and then Regulo Carmona taking the gold and the silver. That'll be followed by Kevin Tan. And we will be back now. And there's a look at pain. But here's a look at the final results in here. Yuri van Gelder from the Netherlands is 16.525, and the American Canton 16.075, enough to get bronze, so a very nice effort by the American. And we will segue into our final event of the afternoon, the uneven bars final. So we can really use your expertise now that we get back to a women's apparatus.
That's right.
For our final event. And here we go again. Little dance routine, entertaining the crowd.
Clipper girls this time.
What's that?
It's the Clippers.
The Clipper girls.
I actually think it's great that there's a little entertainment in between.
Yeah. When they switch from event to event, so you're just not standing there, sitting around watching the paint dry.
Definitely helps the crowd refresh. Sounds like they had some technical difficulties on their music.
There we go. They have hula hoops.
Rhythmic gymnastics.
What's your favorite event?
My favorite event definitely has to be
that is cool.
the uneven bars.
Uneven bars?
Yes.
So you've got to be all excited coming up
Yes.
to the finals. What do you find to be the most difficult or your least favorite event?
Me and the beam don't get along.
No.
Yeah. It's 4 inches. Doesn't make me too happy.
I'm scared to watch that, to be honest, because you always think somebody's going to take a header, you know, on the beam, and remarkably they don't, but
Yeah, endurance-wise, the floor is definitely the hardest as far as that
really
aspect's concerned. The vault is just 10 seconds of, not even 10 seconds, of pure power.
yeah. On the uneven bars, have you ever done the dreaded face plant?
Yes,
Sweet.
many times.
How does that feel?
It's actually not bad because, I mean, as weird as it sounds, a lot of girls, we might see today some. It's called a Hindorf. You can do it from a free hip or a toe on into a Tkachev, and if you miss, you're doing a face plant on the stomach. But it's pretty much like a planned fall. You get used to landing that way, and like I said, when we're young, gymnasts learn how to fall the correct way so we don't get injured. So, I do it, and people look at me like, "Oh, are you okay?" Like,
right.
No, I'm fine.
How much padding is there in the landing area? Is it pretty forgiving?
They have a base mat on the ground. The base mat is 4 to 6 inches. It's really firm, and then softer throw mats that are placed on top. So depending what you use, some girls put an extra throw mat on. Some girls just want the base mat.
Okay. As we continue with halftime. That's so cute.
Nice synchronized tumbling.
That's a football drill.
That's cool.
It is.
Is it? Uh-oh.
This doesn't look good. Oh, okay. Now, these do not look like kids.
No.
I hope it's not cold in the arena. That gives a round of applause. And we will be headed for our final of the uneven bars. Our last event covered today. Here's your favorite toy. We're looking at our first competitor. Our final event. Daria Jura. Will be our first competitor. From Australia, 16 years of age, 5th qualifier. And also qualified on the beam, your favorite, and the floor finals. There's Daria, one of our younger competitors. In 2006, this year, she was 2nd in the Australian National Championships and 6th in the World Championships. Those were her best uneven bar results. She begins her routine.
Free up half. To a Healy, to a Jaeger. Beautiful height. Nice shoot over. Free up full to a Ginger. Nicely done. And a double front with a half twist for a dismount. Great landing. Beautiful routine from Daria. Here we see a nice side view. Her handstands were very well done the entire routine. That's an easy deduction that the judges can take, handstands. It's the easiest thing for them to see, at least from the angle they're standing at.
And happy for Dasha Jura, Australia. She resides in Perth. Her first competitor. And she was the 5th qualifier with a score of 15.050.
Been very impressed with Australia through the years. Especially the 2006 World Championships, they had a handful of great competitors, and even without one of their superstars, Manette Rousseau, still did very well at the World Championships a few weeks ago. Last week, actually.
Traditionally, the judges, do men judge men, women judge women?
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part.
Sometimes you'll see a few men up in the mix judging women. I don't think I've ever seen a woman judge a men's event.
Really?
Yes, but again, I'm not entirely sure that's correct.
15.075. And with some of the delays that we saw at Aarhus, the judging has been very efficient today.
Yeah, the judging's been great today. In Aarhus, we were having 5-minute delays of...
And I just probably jinxed us, but...
Right.
Up next, Polina Miller from Russia. She resides in Moscow. Her hometown is St. Petersburg. Third best qualifier, tied with Daria Zgubova. Best event, the uneven bars. It's Miller, not Miller. Miller would be the anglicized version. Sixth in the 2005 World Championships, third at the Stuttgart World Cup in 2005. And she is ready for her routine.
Nice handstand. Beautiful inverted giants. Laid out Jaeger. Tuan Hindorf to a pack salto. Nicely done. This is a signature move of hers. And full to a single back for the dismount. Beautiful routine by Polina
Miller. 17 years of age, hailing from Russia. Now, how much of a deduction for that dismount will there be? Not much.
She just had one clear step, so
okay.
Should be 1/10. Maybe a little more. It was a little bigger step, so we'll see. The judges give her.
Second look at the routine. Where do the moves of the routine, where do they get their names?
The first gymnast to complete a original skill in international competition, and I think complete it successfely, you get that name, the skill named after you.
So we could have the Flying Schweikert.
We could have the Flying Schweikert. And after a while, I'm like, I feel like the skills start getting taken up. What you had in your head to do, someone might have done, just recently. Mm-hmm. Dang it.
Yeah, beat you to it.
Trying to figure out a new skill, right.
Now, how do the judges come up with how to rank the difficulty of it, if it's something brand new?
You submit it to a committee, and they decide on a value. And difficulty values go from A to, I think it was G.
A to G?
G went to.
Now, Polina, be rather intense. So this will be our second score posted. Stasha Jura from Australia posted a 15.075. 15.375. So Polina Miller takes the lead through only two competitors, however. 15.375. Up next will be Holly Dykes, whom you're looking at right now, from Australia, 16 years of age, second best qualifier, also qualified for the balance beam. And she was fifth in the 2000 World Cup in Shanghai, and she was number one in Australia in the 2005 Junior Australian Championships.
Nice salto work to a Tkachev to a pack salto. Nicely done. lined half to a piked Jaeger. Nice clean routine so far from Holly. Coming up for the dismount. Full twisting all back. Nicely done. That was a solid routine. Not quite the
Most difficult.
dynamic,
Right.
dynamic gymnastics.
If you go that route, as we were talking before about the scoring, you just better be very clean.
Exactly. If you're
not going to go Evel Knievel.
right.
Be smooth.
If you're not gonna go risque, you have to be flawless.
What's your style? Are you in between? Do you like to be a little bit more crazy or a little more risk-taking?
When they had the old cold, actually, on bars, I had no pirouetting, just all release moves. I think I had one pirouetting skill, but it was a simple one. But I was just more into the high dynamic, high flying release moves. That was
good for you.
My
That's the exciting stuff, though.
Of course.
that,
yeah, it was fun.
I mean, one of my favorite events as well is the men's vault, because it's all or nothing. It's set your hair on fire, go and see what happens. So.
Exactly. And I chose to do all release moves because a lot of times with pirouetting, you have the judges, and if you're not in 10 degrees of handstand, they're not going to give you the bonus for the value of the pirouetting skill. And so, I told my coach, Cassie Rice, at GymCats, if we do releases, it's all or nothing. It's either I'm on the bar or I'm on the floor. So they can't, there's no issue to whether I get credit or not.
14.950 for the 16-year-old from Australia, which does not put her atop the leaderboard. She's ranked 3 through 3 competitors. And up next will be Daria Zagova from Ukraine, 16 years of age as well. Qualified third, tied with Polina Miller, who's currently in our lead with a score of 15.375. Her best event is the uneven bars. She turned 17 on November 7th. Has a birthday coming up. Second in the Moscow World Cup in 2006, third in the European Championships in 2005, and third in the Junior European Championships in the year 2004. There's Daria Zagova. Tough time with that name. Resides in Kiev. As you were pointing out before, the women tend to be a little bit younger. We're seeing 16, 17. The men we've been seeing 24, 25, all the way up to 27. Our oldest competitor today.
Beautiful mount. Nice stalder to a stalder half twist, inverted giants. Oh! That's tough. Ukrainians are definitely known for their precise form on bars and their nice lines. You see here, though, she was getting a little out of control in inverted giants, did that Jaeger, and was actually a bit crooked in the air, and also too far to catch the high bar.
So you're telling me that doesn't hurt?
No, it doesn't. No, Randy,
the thought I just heard and the disappearing off the camera would imply that that would not feel all that good.
Nice combination right there. Beautiful dismount.
Great recovery. Mentally, I think I'd be just completely out of it.
We gymnasts at a young age are taught, You fall. No, but really, though, you fall and it's the test of a true competitor. If you can get back up and finish strong, like the second half is going to be the best second half
of your life,
routine of your life, then that's what it takes. Because you never know, we've seen too many times in big competitions like this in finals. You never know who's going to fall next and whose second half of their routine after their fall was the cleanest. It might be, sometimes, it has been in the past enough for a medal.
Wow.
Because of mistakes, so many mistakes on events. So you never know. You never know. You stay with it till the end. You don't give up till the fat lady sings.
It's disappointing for Daria. We'll have the score right now. You can tell she's a little bit shaken right there. Then it's back to the gym and try and perfect it. Very upset, understandably so. That was our 4th of 8 finalists. So she would be walking over to the cry area, right?
Right. It's times like that where I just want to go up to her and hug her and say,
Yeah.
job well done. You made it to the finals at a World Cup.
Kim Bu from Germany coming up next, 17-year-old, 7th qualifier. Results for her uneven bar history. This is her 2nd appearance at the DTB Cup. She competed in the floor exercise in 2005.
Like you were saying earlier, you notice that the judging has tended to sped up since last week at the World Championships.
Do you think that's maybe the judges get more familiar with how to use the system?
That's what I was going to say. I'm sure the judges now are, have more experience. I'm sure a lot of these judges actually judged at the World, so they know what's going on now.
So a 13.9, so disappointed. As Helena Mueller remains number 1 at 15.375. Here's Kim Bu. A little bit of a surprise here, not much known about Kimmy from Germany.
But hey, we do know the crowd has got her back.
German. The crowd in Stuttgart. And don't forget, we will have continuing coverage of the FIG World Cup Gymnastics competition from Stuttgart, Germany. That will continue tomorrow, and then we will have the finals from Brazil, exclusive to WCSN, December 16th as well as the 17th. Randy Durgis, Tasha Swigert, nice to be with you today as we continue the uneven bars final.
Beautiful routine so far from Kim. Dynamic movements. Legs came apart a few times, but for the most part, solid performance. Dismount, full twisting double back. Nice finish.
Big smile. Stuttgart crowd voicing their pleasure with her performance. And for very little experience in national competition, a very nice effort by the 17-year-old.
Here's a replay of Kim's routine. Super dynamic when she performs her skills.
Beautiful.
There's an aerial view of it. Nice little signature skill. Skills like that, Randy, that you'd call more of like a risque skill.
Okay.
Something that's not so stock that you don't see everyone do.
I believe this will be the dismount.
A little bit, a couple form breaks in the air on the dismount, the toes, and then tapping over the low bar. You see a little bit of bent knees, but all in all, she looks like she's very happy with that performance.
We'll probably know before we see it. 14.750, not bad. Not enough to get her into the lead, however. And then coming up next, we will have Jana Bieger from the United States. Her hometown's Germany, but she's a U.S. citizen, from Coconut Creek, Florida.
Jana's a great competitor on this event. She actually made the finals at the 2006 World Championships on bars.
She was the #1 qualifier for these finals. Her mother was an Olympian for West Germany in 1976.
Oh, nice fight. Look at that. Was about to miss it and pressed it right up.
Wow.
Nice high. Stalder Hindorf. Jana again is a very dynamic bar swinger.
I was about to mention, here we see Risqué again. Now the coach comes over for a safety precaution there, or?
Yes, the reverse hex. Beautiful dismount. On the reverse hex, if she were to miss, she would come back to the low bar, so the coach is there just to make sure that if anything would happen, she's not going to land back on the low bar, which would be dangerous.
Kiss on the cheek there. So what do you think about that performance overall?
I thought it was a good fight. Definitely a good fight. You know, I mean, missed a few handstands here and there. Maybe the toes could have been a little more pointed. But man, when she pressed that pirouette over, it's a true test to Jana's athleticism. This girl's a fighter for sure.
Just 16 years of age, which I think we've said about 10 times now.
See there, toes a little bit not together. I'm sure Jana's very exhausted. She just finished the 2006 World Championships in Aarhus, Denmark last week, and having to travel right back to Germany, right back, long plane ride. That's really difficult on any human body, let alone a gymnast who has to get up, get her energy up.
Well, on top of that, then you have the time change and your body acclimating to the upside down clock and all things like that. So 15.425, and that actually puts her in the lead. So a new leader,
like
Paulina
I said,
Miller, now in second.
Like I said, you know, you fight it out like Jana did. You don't give up, and you never know what's going to happen. Puts her in first, so we'll see what's to come for the next two competitors, but that might just be enough to hold her in first.
Here's the hero alert for you. Now, are you friends, or is she a hero from afar?
Oksana? I've competed a few times against her. Not friends, but...
Acquaintances?
Yes, acquaintances. And talked to her a few times. Very, very nice woman. Can't say. Girl.
31 years of age.
Great form. Nice Tkachev.
How much give is there in the bar?
There's definitely a bounce. Not too much, but there's the spreaders on the side where you can actually adjust the tension if you want the bars tighter, if you want the bars looser. So it's really all personal preference. Beautiful dismount for Oksana Chusevitsina.
Crowd letting her hear it. And wouldn't you know, another German. The hometown cooking. Wow. To their feet. There you can see the give. Just a beautiful dismount.
Oksana formerly resided in Uzbekistan. I think that's where she's from, but recently came to Germany Her child had to be treated for an illness he had, and the treatments were being done in Germany. So after he's great now. His health is very good, and she's, I guess, opted to stay in Germany and compete for their country.
We will have one more competitor.
Oksana is definitely a great example of experience brings consistency. You see her every time she competes. For the most part, she's consistently solid in her efforts.
And we will have one more finalist, Jana Shikulova from the Czech Republic. And 15.325, 15.325, so that puts her in third right now, with the American on top, Jana Beiger. So she has one more to fend off, and that will be Jana Shikulova. This will be her best event. She has won 3 World Cup titles so far in 2006. She was #1 in Maribor, 2nd in the European Championship, #1 in Moscow, 18 years of age, from the Czech Republic. Hope you enjoyed our coverage here on WCSN. We will have more coverage tomorrow exclusively here of the FIG World Cup Gymnastic Competition from Stuttgart, Germany.
Nice toe on, Stalder to the high bar. Oh, a little break in the back there, but she continued the swing and stayed with it. Stalder half to a double front dismount. Nicely done.
How difficult is that dismount?
As the landing's concerned, it's very difficult. Any front landing is much more difficult than a back because you cannot see
where
the floor
anything
at all.
is.
At all. So you have to make sure your head is in the right position, your knees are in the right position, you open out at the right time to make sure you're landing straight up and down with the ground. But also, too, front landings, there's more chance of knee injury because of people opening too early and locking knees out. Right. But then again, you really don't have the issue of like the short landings as far as the ankles on the front landings. So it's a toss-up.
Yeah, I was going to say, so it's a pick your poison scenario. Yeah. My ankle's shot today, so we'll go for the lockout knee.
No, but there's, I mean, mostly everyone in this competition lands their front landings well. Hopefully at this level, assuming you can land them well, and that's why you've opted to put that in your routine.
And that is our final competitor here. Looking at it, I think the Americans might get gold. We'll have to wait and see. As Jana Shikulova awaits her score.
It's Jana and Jana.
There you go. Jana Beiger and a 15.175. Wow, that was a quick score. 15.175. So Jana Beiger gets gold at the age of 16.
Another medal for Jana Beiger to add to her collection of international medals these past few weeks.
And once again, there's a look at the final results. Helena Miller gets the silver at 15.375. And your girl gets the bronze. And that will conclude our coverage of the uneven bars final. So the Americans get the gold. And we will have more coverage tomorrow right here on WCSN. of the FIG World Gymnastics Championships from Stuttgart, Germany, our last preliminary World Cups until the actual finals in Brazil that you can see here on WCSN on December 16th as well as the 17th. So Randy Durgis and Tasha Swigert enjoying our day of coverage from Stuttgart, Germany. As the crowd begins to thin out, we will have the medal ceremony as well for our final two competitions of the day, and then tons of coverage tomorrow from Germany. So all in all, your thoughts on the day?
I thought it was a nice meet. It wasn't a great meet. I think that, I mean, it was just nice, calm atmosphere, just kind of relaxed. We saw some great gymnastics, but we also saw a lot of gymnasts who you don't typically see at a World Championship or Olympic Games for some of the countries.
Right.
It's nice to see new faces, for sure.
What'd you think of the Laker girls?
They must have been my favorite part of the show, for sure.
Yeah, so, but it is good, you know, for the entertainment value. Is there's a delay when they change from routine to, or apparatus to apparatus.
Almost definitely.
And a good crowd on hand as well, and a vocal crowd, which was good to see, pulling for the home team quite a bit, and they were not disappointed. Nice performance, and then we do have quite a few events coming up tomorrow that we will be covering.
Tomorrow we have the men's vault, the men's high bar, and the men's parallel bars, as well as the women's balance beam and the women's floor exercise.
So quite a few events that we're going to be taking as we look at the medal ceremony coming in. And 6 happy people going up there, and there's Jana Bieger, the American in the blue, at a winning score of 15.425. So a promising future for this 16-year-old. Hometown is Germany. She resides in Coconut Creek, Florida, where her coach is her mom, Andrea Bieger, who was an Olympian herself in West Germany. Jana, another one with a birthday coming up. She'll turn 17 on the 12th of November. Can I ask you how old you are?
I am 21, and
girl.
I will be 22 on November 21st.
You will, 2 days after my brother's birthday. I'm 58. So, there we go.
I really would never have guessed, Randy.
Really?
Yeah, not at all. You're doing good.
Thank you. Cantana of the United States, medaling the 2006 World Championships. As the ceremonies continue. And these are the top 3 finishers for the still rings. Regulo from Puerto Rico with the silver. And there you see Regulo Carmona, Venezuelan with the silver. Very nice routine on the stills. And then, for lack of a better term, the big dog, who's getting the gold, who specializes in rings only. He does not compete in any other exercise, and I believe 17 medals since 2003. Shaking hands, and he was something to watch. And there's that upper body of the still rings competitors. Incredibly strong, and he will take the gold. So a very nice effort for Yuri van Gelder of the Netherlands. Champion out there at Stuttgart on the still rings. And then we'll have the women coming up with the uneven bars final. Here's another look at Yuri's performance. Just an excellent effort. Worthy of the gold. A nice picture there with the United States getting bronze in that event. From the Penn State College native. And now it's on to the women, where we do a little bit better in the bronze. We go for the gold with Jana Bieger, the 16-year-old. As we are closing out, a wonderful day there. So you're running the gamut here with ages. 16-year-old gold medalist, 31-year-old bronze medalist. Nearly twice her age. And then we have another Jana in there. I didn't seem all that pleased with her performance when she was waiting in the kiss and cry area, but good enough for silver. There's Oksana from Germany, or now from Germany, not originally. Nice smile there, and nice to see the crowd taking to her and treating her as one of her own. As we take a look at the recap here. And they shut out the lights, turned her back on, and she sticks the dismount.
Now that's impressive.
Live television. So there we go, a salute to the crowd by the Russian. And those Polina Miller from Russia takes silver in the uneven bars, and then here's Jana Beger to take the gold. But one more look at Miller's performance. Nice effort there. There's the scary part. Make sure that bar is where you think it's going to be. And here comes your gold medalist from the United States, Jana Beger. An excellent, excellent performance. And like you were saying before, just grinding it out. Grinded it out, and you grind your way into a gold medal. So congratulations to Jana on the uneven bars for a wonderful, wonderful performance. Well, Tasha Swigert, it's been a good day. It'll be fun to be coming back tomorrow as well for more live coverage of the FIG World Cup Gymnastics competition from Stuttgart, Germany. And remember, this is all exclusive to WCSN. And the last preliminary days of the World Cup will be coming tomorrow. And then we will have the finals exclusively here on WCSN coming up December 16th as well as the 17th. So it's been quite a day here around the world at WCSN, and the great gymnastics community of Stuttgart saluting their athletes as well as the world's greatest gymnasts that you can see here on WCSN. Jana Beger takes the gold for the United States of America on the uneven bars. It's been a pleasure to broadcast this on WCSN. For Tasha Swigert, I'm Randy Durgis. We'll see you tomorrow.